last time, I flew on Frontier. I harvested? I don't know. I had a quick game of Fastlane, and I looked at a log over a bridge. Before we get into the video, I was playing around with different configs, as I noticed my current one disabled all ropes and maps for some reason. You've probably seen the nice panning shots I use for all these in-betweens and shorts, and of course I wanted the ropes to be included. I was using a master config setup, so I booted it up again and set everything to max, thinking I would get the best looking TF2 gameplay possible on my brand spanking new PC. After setting things up, I joined a game to try it out. First was Goldrush to try out my new config, and I could already see a few problems. It looks like this config disabled matte Fong, resulting in a more flat shading style. Some players like this, I don't. I also noticed the config was automatically making demos and spamming chat, which I did not want. Well anyway, I joined a game that was full of bots. What a surprise. Looks like the server may have been DDoSed as well, as almost everyone had left. I could have just left, but I decided to investigate by a bonk atomic punch. I've used it before to mess around with bots, and I wanted to see if it still works. The bots were having a meeting around the cart or something. I had some pot shots at one, and the bots started to try and kick me. Even more bots joined while I was observing the meeting of the bots. From what I understand, bot makers do this to increase their bots' casual elo ranking to get into more games. The bots that joined left a message about being VAC banned. Good chance this is just being spoofed. It appears the bots that were still here were still having their meeting around the cart and did not want to be interrupted. I then decided to see if these were the kind of bots who skip taunting players. It seemed to work, but the blue spinbot managed to cap anyway.
We got him! I'm good! Oh, hell yeah! It's no problem, I do this all the time! I could do this for months, but I could!
Since this game was a bust, I left. I then joined a game of Enclosure. I forgot to change the settings back. I was defending on first stage, fortunately with no bots this time. My team were not doing too hot. We lost the first area pretty fast. I went engineer for the second area. Blue pushed past the first point pretty quickly. I set up a sentry that managed to hold the last area reasonably well. In fact, I held out here for a really long time. It took about 5 minutes for someone to realize they could go spy and sap all my stuff. Alas, while I was distracted, the spy sapped my sentry again, and it finally fell.
Build in the sentry.
All of a sudden, Blue remembered they were playing payload, began pushing the cart. With less than a minute left, I was sure we could defend, but Blue wanted to prove otherwise. With overtime in play, Blue went full pub push mode and began inching closer and closer to the point. You know what? I was salty at the time, but I'm happy for Blue. That must have been a fun win for them. Red kinda gave up defending after this. There was a bit of resistance at the start, but I think since not every player is familiar with the final area of Enclosure, my team kinda scattered. To top things off, a cheater joined. This heavy kept toggling an aim hack on and off. Despite having a hacker on our team, we lost. Cheaters never win, kids. Once again, I was at Thunder Mountain. I switched to a different config for high quality graphics, so everything stopped looking ugly and started looking really nice. I used config TF this time. Just to be clear, I'm sure I could have gotten similar results with master config, but I'm an idiot in a hurry, so it's mostly my fault for making things ugly. I joined on stage 2 as red heavy. I quickly switched to demo after getting dunked on, however. I then got dunked on by a scout and switched to pyro as the cart grew closer to the point. I got a few kills, but in the end it was too late to stop the cart.
Help me.
Would you believe it took me until the 3rd stage to realize I had pyrovision enabled? I equipped the lollipop for the map fact video on pyrovision and totally forgot about it. I lost my original goggles, sadly. We did not go too well in the final area. It was pretty much a roll. An engineer even managed to build a sentry near the top of the tower on the final point. I tried to take it out but was not able to. A spy went in to finish the job. Shortly afterwards, Blue pushed the cart to the end. Now, it was my team's turn to push. Look, they do taunt. Anyway, I did the thing as a demo night where you keep charging into the resupply cabinet to make loud noises, but no one else joined me. I went medic to charge an Uber because I wasn't really sure what else I could do. Before we pushed, we started dancing. After the push, we were stuck in spawn until I built up another Uber. It was a dud. We were pretty much getting spawn camped at this point, so I just went sticky jump. so I just went sticky jump and demo to muck about. I did take out a teleporter and a sniper, so I was kinda helping. I also got this sneak kill on a scout.
Nice.
I tried another jump but then had a heart attack. Yeah, we were still getting spawn camped. I was not having a good time. I tried taking out a sentry, but the sentry took me out. The sentry was doing my head in and my team was not helping. I instead decided to focus on dunking on red spawn. Maybe I could slow them down a bit.
Nice.
I eventually worked out I could sticky jump up to the balcony and snipe the sentry with my lock and load. Sentry 3, Humobile 1. Sadly, my team was not interested in pushing the cart, and my ill-gotten gains were not utilized. Should I have tried a different strategy? Yes. Did I? No. And to no one's surprise, we lost. Oh boy, here we go. Been a while since I played on Badlands, but I suppose I set up for a lot of maps. Red was winning, but blue started pushing back. Red recapped and got pretty close to winning the round, but once again, blue defended. Once it felt safe, I started pushing out. Got this nice kill cam. The point went back and forth for ages. Eventually I did manage to cap the center point.
The control point is being captured.
Am I captain this thing by myself? Got him.
But once again, Red capped it back again. Red came back with a vengeance, and it wasn't long before they won the round. Blue kinda gave up on the second round and we got rolled. Dang.
Defend the point, and nobody died.
Yep, it's like that.
Yeah, nobody defends the last one anymore. Boys. And I hate this now.
I remember when Egypt came out, it was such a different style to all the other maps at the time. It still stands out a lot today. The The first thing I think of when I see Egypt is the colour sandy yellow. The first thing that happened to me is getting blown up by a crit rocket. Nice. Well, the first point was captured pretty quickly and the following second point was as well. On to the next stage.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
I think point 1 of stage 2 of Egypt is one of my favourite points to attack and defend. It just looks spectacular and the verticality is delicious.
Bye!
It wasn't long before the first point was capped and we moved on to the second. You know, the funny thing is, I used to hate Egypt, but playing it now makes me realize it's a really fun map. It's a shame we don't really get many other Egypt themed maps aside from, say, well, Lakeside. We capped and we were up to the final stage. I'm getting good with the direct hit. Stage 3 was a blast. Red put up a bit of a fight before we got to the second point, but quickly fell back. Normally this is the part of Egypt where Red can set up a good defense, but I guess the other team didn't have time to set anything up. If you win on Egypt, you have to taunt on the gold pile. It's required. And Egypt is off the list. I'm surprised I haven't seen Highpass more in this series. Sadly, this would not be a game I would enjoy. On my team were 2 bots who were wiping the other team. I did try and vote kick one, but the vote was shut down due to a lack of players. Great. This heavy medic combo did manage to get a kill using the Vax, and I let them cap. I was more interested in observing the bots at this point.
Our control point is being captured. We have lost the control point.
Finally, enough people joined for us to kick one of the bots, but we had to wait before we could kick the other. At this point, I just kinda gave up and left. Hey, it's Snakewater! This was filmed well before the snakes were added. Unfortunately, this was a late game. It looks like most of the team I was on quit. Ah, poo.
Alert! The control point is being...
I did a little bit of defense, but I was pretty much alone and just got bullied by a bunch of scouts. Meanies. Go on, make the joke. I joined late in the game. Red was ahead with only 1.5 minutes left. I managed to help cap the point and oh my god, the fingers! So it turns out config TF sets the view model FOV just the right amount for you to see the soldier's digits sticking out of the screen. I still haven't fixed this yet. Fingers or no fingers, it wasn't enough for me to win the game. Next up was another round of Goldrush. I was on blue at the start of the second round. Neat. I did my thing as a demo as we already had a medic. I then switched to Soli and the fingers are still there. This makes me deeply uncomfortable. I tried sneaking around the back before we even got to the first point, and got plastered by an engineer. Sadly, 2 bots joined both teams and started spamming chat. Ugh. We had to coordinate kicking both of them, with the chat getting blanked out. Fortunately, both bots were getting kicked and the game went back into action. We ended up spawn camping red a bit before finally capping the first stage. Sadly, shortly after we won, another racist bot joined to ruin our fun. It was kicked pretty quickly. Red held out pretty well for the first area. I snuck around the back and took out a sentry nest.
Why is that cart not moving?
After taking a few more down, Blue started pushing out. Me and a few others ran ahead to stop Red setting up. Unfortunately, everyone also stopped pushing the cart. I think we minced most of Red after a few pushes and kept the cart rolling. One more stage left, and it was the longest. The cart slowly crept its way along while I was busy being blown up. We sailed along until the final point. Red finally started fighting back. Blue was pushing, but Red was like a wall or something. Red even managed to push back. They did fall back, but my team kind of left the game. I was solo pushing the cart for a while. Die! We were running out of time and I resorted to pleading in the chat. My team was camping the spawn without pushing the cart. I respawned just in time to help push the cart to the end. Goldrush is off the list, leaving only 2 payload maps. Nucelus makes me want to see more round maps. It's also a very open map that makes sticky jumping very fun. I pretty much spent most of the first round sticky jumping up to these beams and occasionally hopping down to capture the point.
This bloody thing! Stand on the bloody point, you half-wit! Come here, lad! Help me capture this! Yeah, with this point!
Sadly, Red captured and started to gain the upper hand. As per usual, my team was not interested in capping the point, and spent most of the time doing something else? I don't know what they were doing. I got some help to capture the point once, but after that my team kinda left me. Red won the first round because my team did not know how to handle a few scouts. It was pretty frustrating. Second round started much stronger, but as we got to the point, Red captured it back. I did get some help getting it back, but Red had a big lead over us now. We did manage to get ahead of Red, but it was not enough. I saw we were losing and just focused on the snipers because I hate them so much. I was very salty. What a terrible game. You know what? I hate Nucelus now. Stuff Nucelus. Speaking of maps I used to like, I was on Thunder Mountain again. After losing twice already, I was not looking forward to it. I joined late into a second round and Blue hadn't even made it to the first point. I found the quickie bomb and base jump to work really well in the first area. Sadly, my sticky jumping antics didn't translate well to the next area. Red was just the better team. Took his sentry out of spite because I knew the round was over.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You failed.
Now, I was not really in the mood for Suijin right now, but oh well. It was the start of a new game, and yeah, it was one of those games. There was this engineer in blue who was very insistent on building on this beam here. I tried going engineer myself like the NGs I played against last time, but it didn't work. I got a few kills here and there, but it wasn't enough to gain control of the point. Well, red still had a chance, so round 2 began. Blue got the first cap. I was... those fingers! That engineer kept building around this beam. It was getting close to another blue win, but then red remembered the game was called King of the Hill and became said kings. We now had to defend for 3 minutes to win. Red set to work defending. Sadly, I was too busy being dead. I did, however, finally get revenge on that beam engineer. It was so close, I could taste the win. But then, all of a sudden, my team just kinda stopped trying to capture the point. And it was over. Where was that scout even going? The point is in the other direction. Oh, pipeline. A payload race map that isn't Hightower. Sadly, it was the final point, and someone was using hacks. At the same time, a bot joined in to ruin the fun. Yeah, this game was a bust. I did get this kinda cool kill, however. I was looking forward to a nice game of Process. Instead, I got a game with 2 snipers who I strongly suspect were hacking. I seem to have stopped recording after a while, but since I labeled this video as a bot game, I can assume I left it as well. And at this point, I have not played any more casual games. From what I've seen, the bot problem has only gotten worse, and even then, I seem to have gotten lucky with the last few vids. I'm giving this series a break because I'm a bit burnt out on making it. So in short, I'm taking a bit of break from story mode. I'll do a more snappy style for Screen Fortress to get through all those maps, but aside from that, I'm just gonna stick to community servers for a while. Seriously, screw casual. No one can stand on the freaking point. No one knows how to push the cart.
Yeah, screw this, I'm gonna go play Minecraft.